Hi, good morning, everybody. So today we're going to learn about self-reports. Self-reports is a method which is used by psychologists or researchers to gain information when they're conducting their study. So let's look into the types of self-reports. Today we're going to learn two types of self-reports. The first one is questionnaires, and the second one is interview. The first one, questionnaire, normally it's in the written form, and there's a variety of questions types. For example, the first one, Likert scales. It is a statement which comes with options such as strongly agree, disagree, etc. with the statement, as I've mentioned earlier. Here are the statements and the Likert scale from 1 to 5. For example, A, personality traits. My mathematics teacher has a good relationship with the students and teachers. So if the respondent believes in this statement very much, so he or she will choose 5 as the score. And if the respondent does not believe in this at all, so he might just give 1. So can you see here, the Likert scale options are fixed and it does not require the participants to give much detail or describe things in words. And the second one is rating scales. For example, the participants will be given a statement, how happy are you? Like question, how happy are you? And if the participant very much happy, he will give 10 as the score. And if the participant is not happy, so 0 will be the scale or the score. So this is like what it sounds, rating scales, it uses numbers. Questionnaires can be found in two different types. The first one is open-ended questionnaire, and the next one is closed-ended questionnaire. Open-ended questionnaire allows participants to develop an answer and write it in their own words. For example, tell me about a happy childhood memory. And the other example here I found from the internet, questions for science exploration. Number 1, let's look into number 1. What does this make you think of? Number 2, in what ways are these different? Number 3, in what ways are these the same? So can you really see the patterns of open-ended questionnaire, which asks for detail, information, and it does not provide the participants with any options. So the researchers are expecting different answers from one participant to another. And the next one is closed questions. Closed questions is very much like Likert scales and rating scales, because the participants are provided with options such as number 1 for never, 2 rarely, 3 sometimes, 4 often, and 5 always. So these options are fixed, and the researchers are expecting the participants to choose answer from this rating scale, Likert scale, sorry. So other than that, the participants can get questioned with options such as yes or no, and instructions with a set of options. For example, pick the emotion that best describes how you feel today. So the answer can be either happy, sad, cheerful, and moody. Okay, so the next slide is your task for today. You'll be writing about the strengths as well as the weaknesses of using questionnaires. You can get the information from the internet if you have the book. Some of you have both the AS and A2 Revised Psychology, the purple white one, so you can have a look on that and find the answers. And bear in mind that this type of questions is very important because you will get this type of questions in the exam a lot, okay, for especially for paper 1 and 2. The next type of self-report is interview. Normally, answers are given in the spoken and not in the written form. There are 3 main types of interviews you're going to learn. The first one is structured, the second one is unstructured, and the last one is semi-structured. So let's look into the first one, structured interview. Here, the participants will get a set of questions from the researchers or the psychologists, and then each participant will be asked the same questions in the same order. For example, I have 5 different participants, and then I have 10 different questions. So everybody will be doing the same questions from question number 1 to 10. Okay, and it can be one participant gets 10 questions, one participant gets 4 questions, and the other one gets 6 questions. It should be in the same order, it should be the same number of questions. That is what is meant by structured interview. And the next one is unstructured interview. Here, the interviewer may have an initial question to begin the interview, but each subsequent question is based on the response given by the participants. For example, I am interested to identify about students' learning technique. So the first question, the next one is unstructured interview. Unstructured interview is related to when the interviewer may have an initial question to begin the interview, but each subsequent question is based on response given by the participants. For example, I am interested to identify about learning technique adopted by the participants. So my first question will be, what is the best learning technique that you have adopted, that you have used so far? And from there, the response, I'm expecting some response from my respondents or participants. For example, the participant may answer they're more into visual learning. So from the answer, I will ask further question like, what kind of visual learning are you talking about? Please explain. So that is what is meant by unstructured interview. And the last one is semi-structured interview. This is when the interviewer can ask participants in a different order and or ask other questions to help clarify a participant's response. For example, I have 10 different questions with 5 different participants. So I can ask all these participants with different orders. Some of them will get question number 5 first. Some of them will get question number 3 first in random order. It does not have to be fixed. And as an interviewer or as a researcher, it's up to me to ask questions. If let's say I'm not clear on certain response or answers given by the participants. Yeah. Okay, your task for today, by the end of the class, everybody should write the strengths as well as the weaknesses of using interviews. So you can get the answers from the internet, or if you have the purple and white book, the revised psychology ASN A2, you might want to have a look and get some answers from there. And bear in mind again, these questions is very important because you will get this type of questions a lot for your paper 1 and 2. So I'm expecting answers by today. You can upload your answers. We can make a discussion via WhatsApp when you're